Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of 3 for the Intro to Sysadmin course homework. It's very important that you complete part 1 before doing this, guys, because things we created in part 1 are being used in part 2 here. What I want you to do is go through as much of this as you can without any help from me. Keep in mind some of these are task dependent on other tasks, so if you get to those parts, can't do them, go ahead and skip them, move on, do as much as you can. Once you get to a point where you feel like you're stuck or you're done, go ahead and unpause the video and we're going to go through this together. Alright guys, let's go ahead and go through this together. Whether you did it all on your own or you need some help, we're going to go through this step by step. So first part here is create 3 directories, project 1, 2, and 3 on the home folder. Okay, let's go to our virtual box. And let me get that pulled up. Oops, let me clear my screen here. Well, oops, why isn't this? There we go. Actually, let me make sure everything's cleaned up here. There we go. Okay. So we're going to do make directory, right? We're creating a directory. So make directory, and luckily, with this make directory command, I can supply as many directories as I want, as long as they are separated by spaces. So we're doing make directory project 1, 2, 3. We'll hit enter. Now we're going to do an ls, and perfect. There we see those 3 directories: project 1, project 2, and project 3. Okay, so let's go back to our homework here. We're going to look at that next part. Okay, so it says create 3 groups: designers, developers, and managers all. Okay, unfortunately, with the group add command, we can only do it one at a time, which is kind of a bummer. But that's okay. It still won't take too long to do it. So let's go to our virtual box here. So we're adding a group, guys. So we're going to do the group add command. We're going to start with designers. And then we're going to do another group add. Do developers. And the last one's going to be group add. We're going to do managers all. Perfect. Now to prove that those groups were created, we're going to go to the Etsy groups file, cat Etsy groups file. Oop, there's no S. So we'll do that without an S. We look at the very bottom. Perfect. We have designers, developers, and managers. Great. So now we know that those were created successfully. Clear my screen. Let's go back to our homework. Let's look at the next step here, which says, actually, let's name that let's rename that managers all group to just managers. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're modifying a group here, group mod -n for name. Okay, so we're changing the name here. We're modifying the name. Okay. We're going to give the new name, which is managers, and then the original name, which was managers all. Okay. Well, let's prove that that was actually changed by going back to that Etsy group file. Okay. Look at the bottom here. And yep, sure enough, it's now named just managers. Perfect. So let's look at the next step on our homework, which is assign group permissions to create files within their assigned directories as below. Okay, well, we can't give a directory 2 different group owners, right? But we need to set permissions for these guys. So what do? Well, this is when we would use an access control list, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to set some access control list permissions. So we'll do set facl command -m for modify. Then we'll do G for group. And we'll start with designers, because project 1 should have both designers and managers. We can only do one at a time though, so we're going to do designers. Then we want to set the permissions here. Now it wants us to be able to create files in that directory, okay? And if we're creating files, we should probably be able to read the files in the directory. And in order to get into the directory, we need execute permissions, okay? So we're going to give them all 3 permissions. Read, write, execute. We're going to do project 1. Okay. Hit enter. Perfect. And we're going to do that command again. Set facl-m for modify. Group. This time, oops, lowercase g. Make sure you use lowercase g. This time, we're going to do it for managers. And again, we're going to do read, write, execute. Projects 1. Okay. Nope, no S, sorry. Projects 1. Project 1. Okay. Now let's look at the next one here. So that was for project 1. Now we're looking at project 2. We need to add developers and managers. Okay, all right. So set facl-m group developers. Same permissions, read, write, execute. We're going to do it for project 2. And we're going to do that again. Set facl-m for modify group colon managers. Same permissions, read, write, execute. And project 2. Oops, I need to spell it correctly, huh? There we go. So I misspelled managers a couple times there. That's why I was getting angry. There you go. So I had to spell it correctly. And let's look at the last part of that one there, which says project 3, just managers. Okay. So set facl-m for modify group colon managers colon read, write, execute in project 3. Perfect. I'll clear my screen, get some space back here. Alright, so now it says run the command to test step 4 is done correctly. Okay. So we want to get the permissions back and see what the ACL command was. So we'll do get facl. Do it for project 1. You can see there we have the group designers and managers with read, write, and execute permissions. Perfect. Let's do that again, except for project 2. And again, you see developers and managers has permissions, read, write, execute. Perfect. Let me clear my screen. We're going to do it one more time, except for project 3. And again, we see just managers here. Perfect. Managers has read, write, and execute. That's what we wanted. So that'll complete step 4 for our homework. Let's look at step 5, and let me actually scroll down here. We can see the rest of the tasks here. So step 5 says, run the command that step 4 is done successfully. So we just did that, okay? So step 6 says, now let's add the proper users to each group as below. Okay, so we're going to add Jay Henderson to designers, Tom to developers, and Alex to managers, okay? All right. So we're going to be modifying some accounts here to add them to groups, right? So what command do we have to use? Well, we're modifying user accounts, so we're using the user mod command. We're going to do -A-G. So we're appending a primary group -G for a certain user, okay? We want to add a primary group to this user account. So we got to put the group, which is designers. We're doing that for Jennifer, so we do Jay Henderson. That's the first one. Now we're doing user mod again. -A for append, -G. We're doing developers for Tom. Okay, we're doing it one more time. User mod -A-G. Managers, Alex. Okay, so guys, the reason we do append is because we actually want to put this group on top of any other existing groups for these three. All right. If we would have just done group without the append, it would have wiped out all groups and only put this as the main group. So you always want to do append. Unless you want it to be the only group, then you don't do append. Okay. But just to prove that that actually is successful, we can run the groups command on each one of these people. And there you go. You see we have two groups for Jay Henderson. We have the Jay Henderson group and designers. And we can do the same thing for Tom, as well as Alex. So groups just lists all groups for the associated ID that you give it. All right. So we see those groups are all signed out. That's perfect. That's what we wanted. So let's look at the next part here, which says, now do the same thing as above in the previous steps, except assign user permissions to create files in the directories as below. So in Project 1, we want Jay Henderson and Alex to have certain permissions on Project 1. So we want to be able to create files in the directories. Same with Project 2, we want Tom and Alex. Project 3, we want only Alex. Okay. So again, we're doing the ACL command here. Same as before, except this time we're going to be doing it for users. So we do set facl-m for modify. This time we do u for user, colon. Okay. And on Project 1, we wanted to add Jessica or Jay Henderson as well as Alex. Okay. So we do Jay Henderson. Read, write, and execute, because if they're going to be modifying files in there, they're going to need to read it, and they're also going to be able to have to execute on the directory you get access. So read, write, and execute. Project 1. Okay. We'll do it again. Set facl-m user, colon. This time Alex. Read, write, and execute. Project 2. Okay. We're going to do it again. Set facl-m user. Okay. Actually, let's move over to our homework real quick to see the next person we're using. So we're doing Project 2, Tom and Alex. Okay. So Tom, read, write, and execute, Project 2. Okay. Actually, guys, I messed up a little bit. You see up here, I accidentally put Alex on Project 2 already. So we're going to go back and set facl-m user. That was a typo on my part. Alex, read, write, and execute. And we're also going to give Alex Project 1, just like it says, okay? All right. And my typo actually worked out in my favor because Alex should be also part of Project 2 there, okay? So we see we have Jay Henderson in Project 1. Alex... Ooh, excuse me, Alex in Project 1. And we see we have Tom, Project 2, and Alex, Project 2, okay? Let's look at the last part of that in our homework. Last part of number 7, which is just add Alex to Project 3, okay? So set facl-m for modify, user, colon, Alex, colon, read, write, and execute permissions in Project 3. There we go. Now we can do the get ACL command just as before on those, just to make sure that they're set up correctly. And now we see we have user Alex J. Henderson and group designer and managers, okay? We can do get facl on Project 2. And now we see users Alex and Tom and groups developers and managers with the following permissions, okay? And we'll do the last one, Project 3. Okay, and we see just user Alex and group managers can access this project file 3 with the following permissions. Okay, so that's perfect, guys. That's exactly what we wanted. So let's look at number 8 here. Change Jessica's password to Apple Tree. Easy enough. We should know how to do this by now. So pass WD. And Jessica, of course, is the J. Henderson ID. We're going to Apple Tree. Type it one more time, Apple Tree. There you go. All authentication tokens updated successfully. So we've changed Jessica's password. Last one, number 10. Run the command to test to see Tom, or run the command sorry, number 9 here. Change Tom's user to Tommy, okay? Number 9. So to do that, okay, so we're changing Tom to Tommy. All right. So to do that, we're modifying his user account, right? So we're going to do user mod -L. We're going to give the original name Tommy. We're going to change it to Tom. Okay, hit enter. Now it says, well, let's go back to our homework, but basically it's going to have us test to make sure that that actually works. Okay, so number 10, run the command to test to see Tom name is successfully changed. Okay. So again, we're going to make this easier on ourselves. That will be shown in the cat Etsy password file. All right, so we'll do cat/Etsy/passwd. We're going to pipe that to grep, and we're going to see it as Tommy. We're going to see, okay, did he change it to Tommy? Yep, sure enough, Tommy. Perfect. Username was changed. So that's it for number 2, guys. Good work. Proud of you. If you still need some extra help, make sure to go to those links listed at the end of the PowerPoints. We do have private tutoring sessions available. We have monthly and weekly plans. I highly recommend those if you really want to get some more foundational grasp on what we're talking about a little bit quicker and a little bit better. Okay, guys? Thanks for joining me. Looking forward to seeing you in the last and final Part 3 homework for Intro to Sysadmin.